Today is Thanksgiving, but instead of relaxing and enjoying the holiday, we are trotting. But not just trotting. The goal is to trot faster than I've ever trotted before. Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving. Today I am doing a trot. I'm doing a Thanksgiving Day turkey trot. I did just take a week off running, but Spencer said he would pace me in this turkey trot, so I was like, you know what? All right, I'm there. This is one of those once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, which will come up probably a few times in my lifetime, so I had to take him up on the offer. So anyways, I'm doing a turkey trot. The goal is really just to go run and have fun. But I know that my 5K road PR is 15:47, and if you convert that to what it would be at the altitude of Boulder, it's 16:23, which is 5:17 per mile pace. So that's loosely the goal. I've barely thought about it, but I do know the exact mile pace and altitude conversion. So.
Eating that bicarb, right?
Soup season. This is my favorite Thanksgiving side dish. How you feeling this morning?
Not hungry at all because we had Friendsgiving yesterday. I'm gonna try to force myself to eat an Eggo waffle right now.
You better fuel up. I need you at top pacing capabilities. All right, are you ready to just rip?
I am ready to do it. Very, very ready. I didn't bring my sunglasses, so.
We are at the turkey trot.
At the turkey tea.
At the turkey day. And yeah, we're gonna be going soon. As I said, Spencer's pacing me. I want to know what Spencer's prediction is for me. As I said, my goal is 16:23. Comment your predictions down below. And now, since I'm gonna go walk ahead, so I don't know what you predict.
My prediction for Allie is 16:14. You heard it here first.
How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. Actually, it's warming up nicely. Allie's obviously so nervous. Apparently there's some other good runner here that she saw in the warm up, and she's like, just wanted to have a chill turkey trot Thanksgiving race.
Not in Boulder.
No, not in Boulder.
So you're nervous, huh?
You know, I shouldn't be nervous. This happens to me every time I do a local 5K. I'm like, yeah, it's just a chill sort of fun event thing, raising money for charity. And then I get there and I'm like, all right, stake out the competition. Who are we taking down today? And I get so nervous. I don't know. I can't help it. It's gonna be some tight competition today. But hopefully I can be the fastest turkey among them.
Does that hurt?
She beat me this year
Oh.
in a trail race, so I gotta take it to the roads.
Taking about 4 or 5 poops today.
Yeah, but that's just normal race day activities. It's nothing out of the ordinary. as you can see, this course is kind of a T, so it goes out one way, 180, goes down another street, 180's there, and then goes on the longest out and back of the course before a 180, and then it doubles back on itself for the first 2 legs of this loop. So we are on the first straight stretch here, coming up on the first 180-degree turn, and you can see that we're kind of decelerating into the turn, and then as we go around the turn, we lose a lot of speed, and then kind of have to accelerate out of that to try to get back to the pace we're aiming for. Now, I was actually right now on pace for my goal of 16:23 because we had been running around 5 to 5:15 pace, depending on, if the course was a 1% grade up or a 1% grade down. And it felt really good at this point, even though there were parts of the course where it was pretty icy and you had to be a little bit careful. And obviously the turns added something as well. But I also think that me being a steeplechaser, the turns were a little bit better for me because I'm used to having to accelerate into and out of barriers. So it didn't feel too unlike a race. And it was really fun to be in a pack at this point in the race. I was happy that Spencer was pacing me, but right now there were a bunch of guys around me that I was able to compete with and pace off of, which was fun because in a race, it's always best to just compete against people. It's what keeps you in the zone and makes the effort feel easier. So that's what I was doing right now. You can see the pace constantly dropping down since the turn, and I was just trying to get into this pack and get into a good rhythm. But then we got to a part of the course that was pretty icy.
Just be careful.
So going through that, I was just trying to choose a good line and be cautious to not fall, but I also was enjoying the cheers coming from the other side of the course. Going around this turn into the longest straight stretch of the race, I knew that I wanted to try to run a really good pace so that I could hit that goal time for the 5K, but this was a slightly uphill stretch, so it wasn't quite as fast as it had been during that first mile. However, Spence was doing a great job of keeping me on pace and making sure that I stay focused in on the race. But there was another factor going on in that Tabor Hemming was right behind me, probably only 3 seconds back. And we raced earlier this year on the trails and she beat me, so I knew she was fierce competition and I wasn't feeling overly confident. This race was a spur of the moment decision and I hadn't been running the week before. Even though I wasn't doing any running for a week and was trying to just rest and relax, one thing I did make sure that I continued to do was hydrate properly because hydration is so important and it's definitely something I tend to slack on, especially when I'm not working out and don't have as many thirst sensations, which is why I like to rely on Element. Element is a tasty electrolyte beverage with a scientifically based formulation of electrolytes with 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. It has everything you need and nothing that you don't, and it tastes great, so it motivates me to hydrate even when I'm not running and maybe don't feel like drinking water at the moment. Right now, Element is offering a free sample pack with any order to my subscribers, so just go to drinkelement.com/Allie or check it out at the link in my description. And as always, stay salty, my friends. But I really don't want to sandbag that hard about taking a week off because I was still cross-training every day, and I ran and did strides in the days leading up to this race, so it's not like my fitness had gone anywhere. But even with feeling good, my gap on Tabor was not growing, and every time I went around one of these 180s, I would see her and then try to really accelerate out of it because I just did not want to let my pace lag. During most of the straight stretches of this race, my pace was between 5:05 and 5:10, which is faster than my goal, but with the turns and the ice, I was having to slow down pretty frequently throughout the race, so overall, I was still just right on my goal pace.
First lady, well done. You're 5 seconds in front of second.
And then this guy passed Spencer and I, so we were kind of trying to go with him as he was putting in a big surge and making a move, and I saw Tabor coming by on the other side over here, and I knew that she could see me as well, so I wanted to look really, really strong and relaxed and smooth, and also put a little surge in. So coming off that 180, Spence and I tried to accelerate and get down to a really fast pace, because if the person behind you is gonna get a look at you, you wanna make sure that it seems like it'll be really hard to catch you. At this point, we were also starting to pass a lot of the other runners, and even though that meant a little bit of weaving, it was fun because they were cheering very enthusiastically.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so fast!
And I cannot emphasize enough how much I appreciated Spence pacing me. It was so fun to run side by side with him and be able to have him encouraging me and giving me information throughout the race. As we headed into this final out and back of the course, I was a little bit nervous because I did not know how big my gap was, and I know that Tabor is such a strong competitor.
Keep pushing, keep pushing.
However, Spence was doing a really good job of encouraging me and getting me to keep my eyes up and try to chase this guy in front of us, and the crowd around us was also so encouraging. But I was nervous about my position in the race, so I had to ask Spence.
You're gonna beat her. She's not even close. Just push.
I trusted Spencer with this intel because he is the biggest catastrophizer in the game, so if he thinks that I can keep my lead, I felt fairly confident that I would, but that didn't mean that I was letting up on the gas whatsoever. I still wanted to try to push all the way to the finish and run a really strong time. So once I made it around this final turn of the race, I really tried to accelerate.
Kick.
And this turn was also an opportunity to see where Tabor was in the race, and I could tell that my gap had grown a little bit since the last out and back, so that made me feel good. But I was also pushing towards the finish, knowing that all I had was a straight stretch between me and the finish line, so I wanted to try to get in a really good kick and push here at the end. I got all the way down to 4:46 pace, but then things started to get a little dicey as I hit some ice and just tried to stay on my feet and keep as much momentum as possible moving forward, and just make it to the finish line. The race directors had to reroute the course at the last minute due to the snow and ice, so it ended up being short, but I was still happy with the pace that I had run, even though it obviously wasn't a full 5K.
14:40.
I did want to mention though that as we crossed the finish line, you can see the moment that Spencer realizes his hands are cold.
Oh man, my hands are cold. Oh man, my hands are cold.
So everyone go appreciate Spencer in the comments, because not only did he nail that pace job, he also survived the coldest hands in the history of mankind. The race was good. I felt better than I expected to. It was really fun. Like, the course was a little bit weird and icy, but it kind of made it more like an obstacle course almost. And yeah, having Spence there was good because it definitely started to hurt like the last mile, but the course was a little bit short, so I ran like 14:40, but it obviously wasn't a 5K. So going off my mile pace, I think it would have been around 16:20, which is under my converted PR. So happy with that. I mean, it obviously doesn't count, but you know, if we extrapolate it out, which I will, it was a PR, so I'll take it.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah. If we extrapolate it out and then I convert it, and it's road. There's a lot of caveats.